You are not listening to the voice of IWA Flip here on Uncensored Radio. In studios today, joining me, the gold standard, Melvin motherfucking Mayhem. I have none other than the Wolf Tyrant. Wolf, how you been, brother?
Oh, I've been doing good. Been doing good. Trying to battle a upper respiratory infection, but hey, that's what happened.
That's right. You got to fight through these things, just like your Ross has been fighting through the opposition lately, huh?
Oh, exactly. I
Now,
have been highly impressed by them because they are really they're catching on fire at the right time.
Yes, that's precisely what I've been noticing as well. And one of the things I wanted to touch on during this interview, and again, thanks for being on here and setting aside time to join me. But I really want to let these other managers know, like the Rick Angels of the game, the Giulianos of the game, who have lately been on my podcast saying that that their stables are pretty much, I don't want to say running the yard, but they're making the most noise. And this whole time, I keep saying, I think this happened with Annihilation Inc., where in the beginning they got overlooked, but it seems like your roster's been getting overlooked as well. And this is my opportunity to show these other players, like, you guys are sleeping, because right now, while you guys are talking all this shit, here comes this stable just slowly gathering belts, doing what they need to do, putting themselves into number one contention, which we're going to touch on later. And you guys are doing what you got to be doing. And right now, you have you're on the precipice of taking over the league and pulling the rug right out from under them. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, I completely agree. I that's the way we do things around here. While they're gonna spout off and talk all the trash they want, they can talk all the bullshit they want. I don't really care, and none of my guys care. What we're going to do is we're going to win titles and we're going to get our contention up there. And before you know it, they're going to be beltless and we'll have all the belts. That's that's exactly what we do. I mean, it's everything is going according to plan.
I must agree. I don't know what the whole plan is, but if this is what you're speaking of, and doing your things in quiet movements, and I totally agree with that, because it's definitely happening. I see it. Whoever doesn't see it, they're living under a rock, and it's gonna catch up to them. And I think pretty soon, if I have to say something about that. So, all right, before we get into the belts, before we get into your accolades, which you are going to touch on, I just wanted to get your thoughts. Recently, I was forced to make some tough decisions for the better of the league. It didn't sit well with some managers, but for the most part, sometimes you have, what's the expression they say? The hardest choices in life are the best ones to make. Those are the best things you can do. And I think I did something that was necessary for the league, and that was purging the league of all the managers that were just driving me crazy behind the scenes, that were kind of zapping the love of the sport out of me. And after doing what I had to do, now I feel like I'm locked in. I just gave you guys, to me, probably one of the best reports I've done in a while, is showing you guys that I'm serious, that it's time to look forward. It's time to get back to where we were when we first started this league. And I just wanted to get your thoughts of, what did you think of the recent purge that took place in the league?
Well, I think you did exactly what you had to do to make the league fun again and to make the league good for you because you know you can have all the managers in the game and someone wind up pulling the rug out of the league and
Mhm.
making it not fun. And that's what it looked like was happening. And what you did, hey, the league's going to be a better league for it.
Oh, absolutely. It was one of those bad apple out of the bunch scenarios. Actually, a few bad apples. And I mentioned that in the last podcast, that a lot of, actually, it was the one before, when I had a State of the League address. Basically, I was airing out my frustrations, and I did mention the fact that a lot of these managers don't realize, what happens behind the scenes. Like, when you're a commissioner, there's a lot you got to deal with. It's not like you guys, and this is nothing against you guys, but when you're in the game and you're not a commissioner, all you have to worry about is picking your strats, who you're gonna fight, and sending in trash talk. That's pretty much it. There's nothing else to it. But when you're wearing or having the role of commissioner, for us it's so much more than that, because we have to deal with all of the managers that are in the league, and all of the trash talk coming in, and all of the angles, and anything that can play out, and things happening behind the scenes, leading up to inactivity or what have you, personal issues. These are things commissioners deal with. Well, commissioners that take it seriously. I mean, we rephrase that. But I've recently had to deal with that over the last 3 cycles, and it was really starting to get to me. And again, I had to do what I had to do for the better of the league. I feel now we're in a good position where we can, really make some strides in the right direction. I know a lot of other commissioners they tend to worry about the activity levels and card totals and trying to make number one this and that. Man, I could care less about that. Like just now, this last cycle, we had about, I think it was after the adjustment because they didn't play one of the managers' matches and they fixed it, revised it. We had, I think, 35 cards, but I don't really care because at the end of the day, I know that the managers they had fun this cycle because they see I'm back on the horse. They got a great report and they see that things are, getting back to the way it was when we first started this league. So card activity, all that shit doesn't mean anything to me. I don't care about the total amount of managers in the league. I feel less is more. It's more quality now. The trash talk, reflected that. So I'm glad you agreed with the decision I made. I'm glad you're on board with the other managers that stuck around. So I just want to personally thank you while I have you on the air for sticking it out, cycle in, cycle out, like a lot of other loyal managers are. And for that, I actually rewarded your roster, which we're going to get into in a second. But what I guess my next question to you would be kind of segueing into that. What was your thoughts on the last report that I put out for you guys?
I thought it was a real good report. I've already read a lot of it. I've skimmed some of it, but it it flowed real well, and uh, all the trash talk is beautiful.
Yeah,
So
definitely. Thank you for that. I mean, I try to make the trash talk kind of stand out. There's a lot of other managers, they'll well, not other commissioners where they'll receive trash talk and they'll just print it as is. With me, it's no surprise that if I get something, soon enough, I can kind of make it pop, kind of like with Skyblaze, which I love Skyblaze trash talk this cycle. He was really laying into how, which we're gonna get into later. But him being in the cemetery with the graveyard. So I kind of just try to help visualize and bring to life this trash talk so it has more impact. And I love doing that for your roster, especially. You guys have had some of the best write-ups since the league started. And this last cycle was no exception with Skyblade really laying into how, which again we're gonna touch on later. But first, speaking of pay-per-views at Viral Violence, let's jump right into it. Flamingo Brothers, they were up against some tough competition. I did put them in the first ever Unholy Trinity 6-man title match, and it was against the Dynasty. And unfortunately, they came up short. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on that loss. Where do they go from here? Are they going to bounce back? Do they have any plans? What's their thoughts right now after this huge loss?
well, they took it hard, but they were like, you know what? It was a good 6-man that beat them, so they're not upset too much about it because they, as they told me, they're going to get those titles, so they're not going to stop coming after them.
Well, of that I have
Uh,
no doubt. I mean, Flamingo Brothers from
yeah,
day one, they've been doing it up. But
yeah. I mean, they have struggled a little bit this since coming in because the competition is a lot different than what they're used to. But they will adjust and they will be back and they'll be the champions eventually. I'm not
well,
worried about that.
of that, I have no doubt, and it's true what you say. The competition here is fierce, man. We have a lot of great 6-man teams in the mix here. Between some of the Infection staff, we have the Dynasty, of course. Stonewall Brothers are in the mix. Annihilation Inc. I mean, there are a lot of great 6-man teams in here, so it's definitely not going to be easy getting those titles. But speaking of titles, man, this is going back to what I mentioned in the beginning, where it seems like a lot of these other managers are sleeping on your accomplishments, which is kind of disrespectful if you ask me. But so while I have you on, I'm just gonna touch over some of the. First of all, everyone in your roster has won a title, so let me put that out there right now. That while these guys are all winning belts and some of their guys are having success, your entire roster has had success, and I'm gonna get into that right now. I'll just run down the line here. Well, first, before I do that, would you be so kind as to go ahead and let us know who are the people that are under you, who is exactly is your roster, and then I'll take it from there.
Okay, Skyblade the Tiger King, Vicious Vinny Valentino, the 1-1 Flamingo, Johnny the Jet Flamingo, Donnie the Blazing Flamingo, Blue Dragon of Destiny, and the Beast of Leguevedon, Mistress of Pain, Susie Sweet. Those are my people.
Sweet. becoming one of my favorite female wrestlers in the league, which we'll get to. But so yeah, this guy has a phenomenal roster under him, and here we go with the belts that they have acquired. So while you big shots are here, banging your chest about how good you guys have been doing, let's just go down the list of the titles you guys have under your belt so far. Let's start with Skyblade. That is probably the most decorated guy in your squad, but he's already been a Twisted Carnage champion. He's already won the Girdle of the Berserk Championship, and he's won the Whispered Agony Championship. So he's already had three under him, and he's right now currently the number one contender for the Nefarious World Heavyweight Championship, which we're going to get into in a second. Then we have what I would call the first lady of your group, and that's Mistress of Pain, Susie Sweet. Sweet Susie. She has been a Belt of Subtlety champion and an Infernal Vengeance champion. Then we have Vicious Vinny Valentino. He has been Smoldering Sorrow champion, and right now he is the two-time and currently defending Gun Belt of Hell champion. So kudos to him for holding on to the title. Everybody tried to get it off of him. He kept it. He's making a statement, and that is the reason why he is currently the number one contender for the Wicked Wayward Championship, which we're going to get into later as well. Then we have your tag team specialists. That's the Beast and the Blue Dragon. Separately, Beast has been the Whispered Agony champion. Blue Dragon has been the Chain of Echoes champion. And together, as a combination, they have both won the Band of Distant Wars tag team and Band of Distant War TV tag team championships. And let's not forget, Flamingo Brothers have won countless six-man titles. We just mentioned them. And I'm pretty sure they're going to bounce back. So again, for all you guys pounding your chest about how good your stables are, Wolf Tyrant has probably one of the best and most decorated squads in the WWL. So if you guys haven't noticed, I hope what I just finished telling you is a wake-up call, because if you keep sleeping, he's going to pull the rug out from under you, and he's going to take all the belts you guys have been holding on to so dearly over these last few cycles. So what do you think of that nice little rundown I gave your stable there?
Oh, that's excellent. That's exactly how we feel. That's exactly how we feel. I mean, people can look down upon us all they want. I don't really give a care. I don't give a flip.
It's uncensored. It's uncensored.
Yeah, I should have said this. Okay, here it is how it is. I don't give a fuck. I really don't. I'm kind of one of those that's really laid back, so I let actions in the ring speak. And with all the titles we've won, with all the wins we've had against some of the top competition in this league, I think we're on the right track, and we're going to surprise people. That's the way it is.
I agree. I mean, from what I'm seeing, there's no other way around it. I can't think of anything else, because you guys are doing it again. It's like you guys are flying under the radar and just snatching up titles and proving just how worthy you guys are and how tough you are of a competition to the rest of the roster. So again, I hope they're noticing, man. I've been saying it from day one. You guys have an incredible roster, and it's showing. And anybody who says differently, they could go fuck themselves. So kudos to your roster. You guys keep doing what you're doing.
I'll say this one other thing. I really like it when I hear these different ones with their arrogance, because the bigger your ego, the harder you fall. And that's exactly what they're getting ready to do.
Of that, I have no doubt, my friend. And again, just to piggyback on that, I gave you guys some number one contender shots, and we're going to get into that right now. We'll start with Skyblade, the Tiger. Now, Skyblade, again, he's probably your most decorated guy on your roster, probably the most infamous in your squad, and rightfully so. Had success over in the ECO, has come over here, and he's been doing it up since he's been here. And now, this last cycle, he did have some choice words for Hal, basically saying that he's sick of how Hal is portraying, the championship of the Nefarious World Heavyweight. He's kind of like just, using it as a prop instead of the taking it seriously the way it should be. He's basically clowning him, man, and I don't blame him. I mean, Hal, yes, for all his accolades, he does have a big ego. It gets to you, I guess, sometimes when you win so much. I guess he's getting complacent, and I think that's going to be his downfall, because right now, if Skyblade has anything to say about it, and he's as serious as the words that came across in his last write-up, man, Hal's in trouble.
Yep, he is. See, Skyblade's already focused now. He's got the focus right on him. That's what the title he wanted. It's the title he wanted whenever he first came into the league. So now that he's got that number one contendership, well, that's all he's going to be thinking about.
Oh yeah, and for those who didn't notice, if, in case you probably think it was a mistake on my end, but it wasn't. It was a last minute decision that I did. Initially, I had you penciled in to face Hal or whoever the title went, whoever held the championship. Because again, it could have been Hal, it could have been whoever, but it was gonna go down an all out mutiny. But I wanted this to happen so quickly and just kind of strike while get it while it's hot, basically, and that's have it take place next cycle as the main event for Turnbuckle Thursday. So again, it's not going down at the pay-per-view. This is a match that's going to happen a lot sooner because I want this belt to be defended more often. I don't want to just hold on to it for the pay-per-views. So now Hal is going to have to be on his A game right away, and it's going to be against Skyblade next cycle. So this is Skyblade's chance to do it and actually head into All Out Mutiny as the Nefarious World Heavyweight Championship.
Well, that would be an awesome thing if he could win it, and I really believe he can. So, thank you for giving the opportunity. And
Absolutely.
well, Hal's gonna wind up being beltless next cycle.
I hope he's listening. I'm sure he's gonna listen to this. So Hal, you better be ready because next cycle, Skyblade's coming for you, and he's gonna be in human form, obviously, and even when he's in human form, he's a dangerous motherfucker. So you better tuck your Johnson in because you might end up losing that and your belt.
Yeah, yeah, he definitely will. Probably would be.
Yeah, I don't think
Tigers
Skyblade. I
have
don't think Skyblade wants the vitamin D.
no, he doesn't. No, definitely not. And Hal would be better served if he would show up to the ring in clothes because tigers have razor sharp claws. You do know that, right?
Well, yeah, but who are we kidding? This guy loves to wrestle in the buff, and that's his style. I guess he feels comfortable. But again, I think you're right, man. I think he needs to come with some kind of armor or some kind of plate or at least a steel cup down there or something, because it might not be
Yeah.
good. It might not be too good for him after this.
Yeah, the bouncing things between his legs. What are they called again? Yeah, balls. And
Oh
Tiger
man.
King being a tiger, cat.
I don't know. That might entice the tiger to come out. So be careful, Hal. I don't think this is one match you want to come wearing some clothes, buddy.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
So yeah, it's going down next cycle. Again, that's the main event for Turnbuckle Thursday. There will be some undercards there, but I not only do I want to have that belt defended more often, I want Turnbuckle Thursday main events to have more basically main events. I want them, I want the show to stand out just like I do for Taboo Tuesdays. Which speaking of, next cycle in Taboo Tuesday, this is again a women's only main event show, and we actually have a huge triple threat match going down, and this actually stemmed from some back and forth that was going on in the war room. I kind of took a step back and I kind of bended the rules with the Mayhem titles and how they get defended. And I said, you know what? Because this is must see TV, and I know the fans would want it, especially after the match that Black Widow and Miss Eva Danger just finished having, which kind of tore the house down at Viral Violence. I gave Miss Eva Danger her rematch. However, Tanya E. Dangerously has been thrown into the mix. This will be a triple threat for the Goddess Extreme World Championship. And the winner of this match next cycle will go on to face the Mistress of Pain, Susie Sweet, at All Out Mutiny. What are your thoughts, Wolf?
Oh man, that's gonna be a sweet pay-per-view match. I don't. She doesn't. She doesn't care who she faces. She's already told me she's gonna be a champion.
Yeah.
So there you go. She's
And again,
happy.
to add to that, Susie Sweet, she's been from day one. She's been doing it. She's been winning. She's been winning when it matters. She's been winning the title. She's been on the title page. And her number one contention. This isn't a fluke, man. This is hard earned, every day showing up to work, getting it done. She might not always win, but when she does, she makes an impact. And now it has landed her in the perfect spot where no matter what happens, she will be in that title match at All Out Mutiny. So whoever is coming in as a champion, whether that's Denise Destiny, who I'm pretty sure is the odds-on favorite to retain the title, or whether it's Miss Eva Danger trying to get her belt back, and that wouldn't be a shocker, or the upset, which would be huge, and that's Tanya E. Dangerously walking out with the title going on to face Susie. Either way it goes, we're set up to have an incredible women's title match at All Out Immunity, because it doesn't matter which one of those three go on to face Susie Sweet. That's going to be an incredible matchup to look out for, and I'm sure you agree.
That match right there could be a main event, a caliber match, right
Absolutely.
there.
Again, I don't
And
for everybody who got a chance to read the report, I did give grades for all the matches. I did give recaps for all the matches that went down at the pay-per-view. And I gave an A++ to Denise and to Eva. Again, they tore the house down. Even though Eva came in with injuries, man, she did not really show it as much as I thought she would. Steel cage match, they tore the house down. That fucking place was screaming fight forever. And you know what? It led to this. And to me, if you ask me, this all plays into Susie Sweet's hands, because whoever goes in there is gonna have all this momentum coming out of a huge match. And if Susie can pull off the win at the pay-per-view, then she's just gonna zap that momentum up, walk out as probably the greatest so far to date women's title holder in the WWL. So
yeah,
it's looking
yep,
pretty good for Susie, and she needs to capitalize.
yep. She needs to bring her A game, and she will. I'll have her ready for it.
Absolutely. Of that, again, I have no doubt of that. She's been doing it up. So this is a chance, and again, she's earned it. So let's see how that plays out. Now, moving on down your line, moving on down the roster, should I say, Vinny Valentino, the vicious one. This man is another one that's been slept on. But again, he's won the Smoldering Sorrow. He is the defending two-time Gun Belt Upheld title champion. No one was able to take the belt off of him. He is, I believe, closely associated. You could correct me if I'm wrong, but he's closely associated with Flamingos to some degree. I don't know what the extent of their relationship is. They have had some locker room exchanges. I think he's more like a mentor to them. I could be wrong. You could shed some light on the relationship between the Flamingos and Vicious Vinny Valentino, and shed some light for me, because I've been curious to know exactly what the relationship is between that group there.
At the beginning, it was just they were put in the locker room together, so it wasn't that they had any. They didn't have any. Well, I don't know what the word is. I'm trying to look for. They weren't together for any other leagues, but Vinny just likes their attitude. I mean, he thinks that they kind of are like him, but a little bit juvenile at times. So he's kind of taking them under his wing.
Okay. It kind of seems like that's why I said that he's kind of like the mentor almost, where
Yeah.
it seems like whenever the Flamingos get a little carried away, because they are, a very laid back, fun group, he's the one that kind of straightens them out and reminds them, listen, get your head in the game. And that's what I've noticed.
Yep.
He's the one to
Yeah. He's
straighten
kind of
them
the
out.
father. He's a father figure kind of for them, keeping them in line.
Perfect. Well, it's good to have that, man.
And
For
it
the
and
Flamingos.
it does help. I mean, Vinny's showed them a lot. That's kind of why they're as tough as they are as a 6-man team.
I see. I had a feeling when I saw a couple of their exchanges, and I'm like, there's got to be something more to this that a lot of people don't see. And I'm glad you mentioned that and you kind of shed light on that, because I was curious. I did sense that about that relationship that they had, where he was serving as kind of a mentor and keeping them in the game. So with a mentor like that, I'm pretty sure Flamingos are going to bounce back. But right now, Vinny has other fish to fry. He needs to be worrying about who he's going to be facing at All Out Mutiny, and he has probably the toughest challenge he has ever faced, and that is none other than one half of Johnson and Uranus, Big Daddy Johnson. Now, this guy is, and no one can take this from him, Big Daddy Johnson is probably one of the most decorated guys from day one. He's getting it done. Him and Hal Uranus combined, it's ridiculous the numbers they're putting up. It's ridiculous the amount of titles that they've won. They have been, everything and then some. They have been everything that I have promised them to be. And they pretty much they do run the yard. I'm gonna put that out there. I don't care what anybody says. Those two right there are running the yard, and it keeps happening every single cycle. They're always on the title page. They both managed to defend their titles at the pay-per-view recently. So if Vinny could pull out this win, which I have no doubt he can, because again, he's a three-time already champion on the title page. He's getting it done. If he pulls off, I think I can't even say it's going to be an upset. To be honest, some people look at it as an upset. I don't see it that way. I see it as somebody who's been proving himself from day one. Who, again, like you said, these guys are flying under the radar, and they've been getting it. They might not be as popular, with the WWE universe, but they're getting it done. They're showing up. They're putting match after match after match. And again, for me personally, if Vinny comes out victorious as the Wicked Wayward Championship, I will not be surprised even in the slightest. What are your thoughts on that?
I won't be surprised at all. I mean, he's my guy, so I mean, I already know a whole lot about him. I know what training regimen he's going through right now. He's really prepared for this. He's wanted to be one of the top dogs for ever since he's been in there. So he's going to get a chance this coming up, and he's ready for it. And uh, all I've got to say is, yeah, Big Daddy Johnson has been impressive, but everybody has a winning and losing streak, and we're going to make his losing streak start.
Big Daddy, I know you're listening, so you better get your head in the game, man. Because if there's anyone that's gonna be able to take that belt off you, my money's on Vicious Vinny. That's the reason I gave him this opportunity. I'm sure he's not gonna disappoint, and regardless, he's earned this. You know, he's earned this spot, hands down. There's no question about it. That's why I put him in there. But again, your roster, you know, they've been doing it. You guys have a golden opportunity in front of you to really, really, you know, put a stamp on the Mayhem title page, kind of like what Giuliani has done recently, where, you know, his guys, again, he currently has the tag titles, the six-man titles, and he's doing it, man. He's doing everything he needs to be doing, and not to mention that he does have the Goddess Extreme title under his roster. So you guys actually have a chance to do the exact same thing, where 3 of those Mayhem titles are under your belt. So it will be a statement, obviously, to make to the rest of the league. But again, win or lose, in my opinion, you guys have already proven yourself to be among the elite in this league. And anybody that disagrees, again, could go fuck themselves. They're not following the game the way I am, and they're not seeing the talent that's just pouring out of these guys. And I see it, and I've rewarded it. And, you know, I've given each one of those 3 that are mentioned an opportunity. And now it's time to see if they're ready to step up and take that brass ring.
Oh, I believe they are. We will not disappoint. And I'm going to throw this out here: win, lose, or draw,
Right.
they're going to be a thorn in everybody's side, whether they're the champion or whether they have to fight back to get the title shot again. I mean,
Absolutely.
that's just the way I look at it.
Rightfully so, man. Rightfully so. Again, you guys, there's nothing else. There's nothing bad I can say about your roster. There really isn't. You don't. I don't see there being a weak link there. You guys collectively are, you know, you're as strong as each individual. And again, every one of your guys has had a belt already. You're all champions, or have been champions, or currently are champions. So, you know, there is no
Yeah.
weak link in your roster, which is fucking amazing if you ask me. Other managers might have 1 or 2 that haven't won a title, myself included. You know, who am I to say anything? But your guys are really doing it, you know, in and out, and I'm super impressed with what they've been bringing to the table. But I do want to touch on your tag team, obviously, which is the Beast of Lego Vadan and Blue Dragon of Destiny. I know not too far back, I forget what cycle it was. You mentioned that there was going to be somebody coming in to kind of, I guess, guide them or take over. You know, I guess as manager to them. I don't know if that was yourself you were speaking of, or somebody else. But I wanted to ask you, you know, where was that going? Is this person going to show up soon? And, you know, what's in the future for that tag team?
Well, we kind of had a little setback, and the one I had originally decided I was going to bring in, he wasn't able to do it. So I went back to the recruiting atmosphere. No, I went back to recruiting, and I think I found somebody, and we're ironing out the details right now, and hopefully this cycle
Nice.
I'll be introducing him. But if it's not this cycle, it'll be the next cycle.
Perfect. I mean, I can only imagine, you know, having to manage those 2, you know, behemoths. It has to
Yeah,
be difficult. I'm sure you're looking for the perfect candidate for that. It's not just anybody you want to throw in there. Because again, these 2 people, you know, they have a chance to be probably the best tag team in the league. You know, they're certainly getting there. They got some titles. Again, they are the Band of Distant Wars and the Band of Distant Wars TV champions. I'm sure they're gonna be in the Mayhem tag title picture soon. If not against Fire and Ice or against somebody, it's gonna happen eventually. But
yeah,
I don't put it past them whatsoever. And I have a feeling that if they do get somebody to kind of, like, you know, guide the ship, so to speak, they're gonna be really dangerous.
yeah. They've been dangerous, just them 2 together. Imagine putting a brainy manager in there with them.
Yeah, that's dangerous. That is definitely dangerous. So the tag team division, they better take, you know, heed of this. We're mentioning it now. So if down the line you guys see that this tag team just comes out of nowhere, walking out as the Mayhem Tag Title champions. We said it here first. Again, that's one of the main reasons for this interview with you, Wolf, is that I wanted to remind everybody just how dangerous your roster is. I swear that I feel like they've been getting overlooked, and in my humble opinion, not anymore. And that's the reason I gave you guys the opportunities you have in front of you. And whether or not they win or not, that's on you. That I can only give you so much. I can only extend the olive branch so far. Now it's up to you guys to take it and make a statement, man. Because if you guys walk out, even if it's 2 out of 3, or even one of you guys walk out of it as a Mayhem title winner, that speaks volumes to the way you train your roster, the way you're on top of these guys, and the seriousness of which they take this business, which to me is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and I mean, all 8 of them, they really take this serious. They want to be a success in the WWL. They love this league. I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, this is a kick-ass league.
Thank you, brother.
And I'm impressed with what you've done so far. And the league is just on its way up. I mean, it can't go any. It has to go up even further, and it will.
Absolutely. It's kind of, it harkens back to what I mentioned when I actually took over the NBO long time ago, many years ago, where it took a few cycles, man. I'm not gonna lie, it took at least maybe the first 12 or 13 before it just skyrocketed. But again, my focus isn't on activity and car totals and stuff like that. It's just my focus now is more the quality and just to make sure the managers have fun, man. Because like you said, the fun was getting zapped out of the league, and it was showing. There was a cycle where I didn't want to even do a report. I was getting out of it. I was like, fuck, something's got to give, and which is why I made the decision I made. And I really feel like I have a great group of managers now. Like whoever's in the league right now, again, the roster is final. I feel so good about this roster right now. I'm stress free now. I think that showed in the report that I put out. And again, there's going to be a lot more content in the next report. And the reason why there was some things you didn't see in this report is because, again, this was a purging. This was a reset. So that's why a lot of people, probably wondering where the stats, where's the rankings, where's it. That's not going to happen until now, because I'm taking all that information from the cycle that just passed, because everything got wiped clean. It's clean slate. So again, this gets, like Giuliano touched on, you have an opportunity to do what you couldn't in the beginning. So now it's basically a starting point for everybody. And that was the whole point of this reset. And it was, exactly that. But before I did the reset, I decided, you know what? I don't want to just, overlook those people that have been, proving themselves from before the purging. And three of your people, which are all #1 contenders, were among that group. And that's the reason why I decided, you know what, regardless of the purging, regardless of this reset, I'm going to give these guys their title shot because they fucking deserve it. I'm not going to make them start all over again after they've already proven that they're ready for those opportunities. So that's why, I want to make sure I air that out. If anybody's wondering, well, why are these guys, why did they get put into these matches? What did they do? They did everything they were supposed to do. I'm going to say it like that. They did everything that they were supposed to do. That includes Skyblade, that includes Susie Sweet, that includes Vicious Valentino. All 3 of those, they put in the work and they deserve these title shots. So don't come at me asking why. That's why. And that's the reason why we're having this interview. So, I'm thankful you guys are here. Again, you've been here from the beginning. So, kudos for you guys sticking around. I really appreciate that. Truly, I do. From a commissioner to a manager, thank you for doing that. Thank you for sticking around. And you're right, man. The league is only going to get better from here on out.
Yeah, I mean, this league's going to wind up being the best league in the whole entire IWA.
Oh,
I really guarantee this, because we have great managers, great commissioner. I mean, Flip, you're doing a good job with the. I mean,
shout
having
out
the
to
interview.
Miss you, brother. Have you on next week.
But yeah, everything's coming along, and we've got the perfect crew dealing with everything. We've got the weaklings out, I guess, is how you could say it.
Cretans. And the Cretans are gone.
Yeah, that. Exactly. They're gone. And well, that's gonna be, I mean, man, I'm speechless on how I want to say this, but
go for it. It's uncensored, man. Get it out.
The Wicked Wars League is the baddest ass league in the whole entire IWA, and everybody should want to be in this league.
Thank you for that, man. Just for the record, I did not pay him to say that. That's coming straight from him. It's a genuine
Yeah,
feeling. I
I'm
had nothing to do with that. So thank you for those words, man. That does mean a
not a
lot to
problem.
me. Just want to make
Not
sure
a
people
problem.
understand that that wasn't something we set up prior to this. I didn't know you were going to say that. So thank you.
I had to shock you a little bit.
Nice. It worked. But yeah, just to add to what you say, it's true. I really feel great about this group of managers. I think for the most part, the ones that I did get rid of, and it was a lot. People don't realize, but most of it affect the women's division. Unfortunately, we still have a solid women's division, so I'm not even worried about that. But it's just that a lot of them they weren't in it for the game. They weren't in it for the right reasons. They could say they were. I don't care whatever comes out of their mouth. But I know for a fact that a lot of the ones that I got rid of, they were not in this for the league itself. They were in it for either somebody else or just they were in it for the wrong reasons. It wasn't genuine. And I know who the genuine ones were and who weren't, because the ones that were genuine about it were active every cycle. The ones that were genuine about it were participating every cycle, staying in communication with me every cycle, not waiting for other people to do things. They were doing it themselves. They were taking initiative to do it themselves. Those are the managers that I wanted to keep on board. Those are the managers that are here now after the purge, and that's the reason why I agree with what you're saying, man. I mean, this league is going to take off, and rightfully so. It should become probably the best league. Matter of fact, I agree with you. It is going to be the best league in the IWA. It pretty much is, in my opinion. It is. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. And one of the main reasons for that again is because we're off the grid. We're not bound to the IWA rules anymore. Especially when my report, anything goes. And I think that's a really attractive part of this league where you have creative freedom. I do know for a fact a lot of other leagues, they're kind of, I don't want to say restricted to what they can do, but there definitely is limitations. I'm pretty sure you would agree with that. They really can't do everything they want to do. But in my league,
I
you already
agree.
know for a fact, man. You saw three girls, one cup this cycle, man. What'd you think of those girls? Those
That
daddy's
was fun.
girls, man. I tell you.
Yeah, that was funny. I about fell out of my chair laughing on that.
So again, these are things that only the WWL can provide you. For anybody listening that has no idea what I'm talking about, it sucks for you. But there was, in a recent podcast, we did mention and revealed the new name, the new six-woman name for Daddy's Girls, which was Three Girls, One Cup. So I kind of just said, you know what, let me do a little promo for these girls, revealing their new name. And I did it with no text or anything, just a nice picture, and it said it. Pictures worth 1,000 words, as they say, right, brother?
Exactly. Yep. That's 1,000 word essay right there.
We did have a lot of great moments in this report, a lot of funny moments. I definitely try to spread those out throughout. I took some cheap shots at Flip. He's been a pain in my ass lately. I love you, Flip, but you've been a pain in the ass. And it was just fun, man, all around fun. I had a blast putting this report together. Again, moving forward, it's gonna be even better because I already have my source material ready. It's a clean slate, man. I feel like I felt when I first started the league. To be honest, I had that passion again, and I felt that's what was lacking when I had a deal with the bullshit that was going on behind the scenes that led for me to have that state of the league address and really air out my frustrations the way I did. Again, some people got hurt, some people didn't, some people were like, "That's right, man, do what you got to do," and those are the ones that I kept around. So these next few cycles leading up to All Out Mutiny are gonna be fucking amazing. I'm also gonna be revealing some news, some updates, because I know some of you probably wondering what's going on with the Calamity contract. Round robin, obviously I had to make some big changes with that. I'm gonna reveal some really incredible news this coming cycle. Another thing I want to announce right as of now is that following All Out Mutiny, the next pay-per-view will be Femme Fatale. It's going to be the all women's pay-per-view. So there will not be any men on that card whatsoever. It's going to be all the women. They're going to have their time to shine. So after All Out Mutiny, everything's going to be leading up to that. And the women are going to have their just due, and they're going to have their own pay-per-view, which rightfully so, man. The women's division has been amazing, regardless of the hiccups, regardless of what I've had to do recently. The ones that have stuck around, the Eva Dangers, the Tanya E. Dangerously, Susie Sweets, the Daddy Girls. They're all, obviously Denise Destiny. They all deserve the spotlight, and they all deserve to have their own pay-per-view. And it's definitely going to happen. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be right after All Out Mutiny, like I said. But I do have a lot of other announcements that have some big rewards to give out. I don't want you guys to think that the ones that won tournaments recently, you're going to get the money that I said you're going to get. Some big money prizes going to get distributed this cycle coming up, and rightfully so. Some of you guys won about a quarter of a million, some more, and the money's gonna start flowing now. I have about 6 million in IWA cash ready to start giving out, man. I didn't forget about you guys. I have the free matches coming out as well, and things are gonna pick up big time now. I mean, I'm currently working on trying to acquire a big name from another league that's about to go under. I'm hoping that this person comes over. I'm not gonna reveal who it is, but if I do get this person, that means that somebody that did leave the WWL is gonna make their way back because they're gonna have a score to settle with this person I'm trying to bring in. So I'm hoping that that plays out. But I can only do so much behind the scenes. There's only so much negotiating I can do. But if I do get this person, it's going to be a huge acquisition, and it'll be great to be able to present this person. He's pretty much legendary in the game, and I'm hoping again to bring this person on. So yeah, a lot of big things going on behind the scenes, man. So this is for anybody listening. This is the time to get involved. I have been kind of planting the seed with other managers that have shown interest in the league. I'm hoping that they bite and say, you know what, let's go for it. Let's take a plunge. I do have some newcomers that came on recently. I just want to shout them out. That is the Lightning Kings came on board. We have the Crypt Keepers that came on board, and we have Inazuma who fired the first shot against Esmeralda Diamandias in the women's division. This is a whole new crew that came on board. They're already known and established within the IWA, and they got something to prove here. Kabuki Dragon. This is great group of people that have come on board, and they're ready to take the plunge with the league. And Wolf, for a fact, this is not. I mentioned it before. It's not a cookie cutter league. This isn't for the faint of heart. You gotta bring it every cycle because just to get on the title page is a monumental task in itself because of the quality of these managers that we have here. That includes yourself.
Yeah, it is definitely not a easy league, and it's a league that you'll be frustrated, but you'll be rewarded amazingly whenever success comes your way, and it will.
Absolutely, absolutely. You just got to stick it out, man. I mean, again, it's this league is ultra competitive, and that was by design, man. I picked, I didn't want to just have managers that were trash talkers. Obviously, that's a big part of it because this league is trash talk heavy. That's one of the main things about this league that I love so much, the creative freedom. But at the same time, I wanted a nice mix of managers where some are new, some are veterans, some are stuck in between, getting their footing. And I feel we have a lot of that across the board, but especially we have a lot of the greatest managers, literally the greatest managers in the game now are in the WWL. And that's not even up for debate. I do have some of the greatest in the history. I actually have the greatest in the history of the game as part of this league. I'm not going to mention names again. I don't mention managers by name like that unless they want to, but I do currently have the number one all-time points leader in the game as part of the WWL. So again, I don't want people to think that this is going to be a walkover league where you're just going to come in and take title. That shit don't work that way. You need to earn it every cycle. If you want to get on that title page, you need to earn it and be active. You need to get into these feuds. And like Wolf said, you will be rewarded. And when you win those big matchups, it's going to feel so fucking good because you're going to get the accolades you deserve, man. You have a commissioner that's going to put you front and center and give you that spotlight and say, listen, job well done. And here you go. You're going to get the front of my report. You're going to get a huge section, devoted to you, or on these podcasts where I'm going to mention you and give you the kudos and the praise that you deserve. And I feel I've been doing a pretty good job at that. I hope there's nobody that's been overlooked. There are other managers I've been trying to get on this show. Some of them are shy; they don't want to get on. That's fine. Others, whatever reason, I have no idea. But I hope that they get onto the show. I'm glad I've had you on the show. This is your second time on the show, if I'm not mistaken. I have had Rick a few times. Giuliano, he's a staple on this show. I did have Stephen Blythe once on the show prior. Flip is always joining me. But there are some managers. Oh, I actually had Bishop Faith was on the show as well. Kyle Queen, but there are other managers that still want to get on here. And I know there's one person in particular. I'm going to take the time to make sure I say this loud and clear. Miss Eva Danger, you're on the clock. That's all I gotta say. Get your ass on the show. I want to interview you. I want the people to hear what you have to say. And also Tanya E. Dangerously as well. Those two right there, those sisters, they need to get on this show ASAP, man. I mean, a lot of venom has been spewed their way over these podcasts, especially by Giuliano. So I want to hear their take, man. I want to see where their head is at with everything going on. And hopefully I get them on here soon. I'm sure they're gonna listen to this either tonight or tomorrow. So again, Miss Eva Danger, you are on the clock. So now, before I go, any final things you want to get off your chest, Wolf, before we get off the air here? Anything you want to add or